Hi everybody, Enrique Soltano here. We're talking about video games some more. And again, we're talking about creating a strategy video game and just how scientifically inaccurate Sid Meier's Civilization and Total War is. Again, I love Sid Meier's Civilization, Total War, and I'm not even talking about like World of Warcraft or fucking some of these other video games which are just fucking cheesy as fucking hell. But we're talking about creating like a scientifically accurate video game. And it's really nationalism which fucks everything up. Right? Cuz like if you look at water. Fucking water. What's water? Right, water. Let's look at water. Water. Let's all look at water and come to some judgments here. Right? If water is static, then it is a cesspool. Period. That's science. Right? If water is static, then it is a cesspool. Right? And is that not what fucking Sid Meier's Civilization is? And Total War? They're all static. They are cesspools of video games. Right, and again, those are some of my favorite video games, by the way. I fucking love Sid Meier's Civilization, and I love Total War. Like personally, I love Total War more than Sid Meier's because Sid Meier's has the strategy, but like anybody who knows about strategy and tactics, like there's the difference between tactics and strategy. And I think Total War is a more whole experience in that you get both tactics and strategy, right? Tactics is the minutia of the battle. Strategy is the grandiosity of the campaign, right? So if we want to compare the two, we would talk about the Mongols, right? And the Mongols would like one thing I heard about the Mongols would that they would shoot up into the sky, right? Because they had these bows and arrows, right? They would shoot up into the sky, right? But they would hide themselves, right? They would shoot up into the sky and they would hide themselves. And you'd have some Mongols who were shooting up in the sky, right? And so what happens? Like, obviously these arrows are coming down from above. So what do these defenders have to do? These defenders have to like pull their shields up, right? They have to pull their shields up into the sky in order to defend against these arrows that are coming down from below. But as these arrows are coming down from below, you'd have these hidden Mongols who are jumping up from like these are like modern special forces who are jumping up from hidden places, and they're shooting from straight, right? So as these soldiers are trying to defend themselves from arrows that are coming from above, they've got these arrows that are coming at their, like this is fucking geometry. Like it's brilliant. Like the Mongol tactics were fucking brilliant. Tactics. Right. The Mongol tactics were fucking brilliant. But again, this is like the difference between tactics and strategy, right? And but anyways, Total War. So Total War. I love Total War. Like first Total War I played was Medieval. That was fun. I actually liked Total War games more than Sid Meier games. Although I love Sid Meier game. I love the Sid Meier Civilization games. I love them both, but they're both scientifically inaccurate. They are. They totally are. They fucking are. Oh my god. Um. But then again, like I'm not coming on here saying that I know how to make a scientifically accurate game. Like that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to come to you guys and talk to you. But in order for you guys to make a scientifically accurate game, you gotta rise above the propaganda. Like totally, there's so much nationalistic propaganda out there that is totally fucking historically unreal. Oh my god, fucking A. That's why the heavens want to destroy history, and in my opinion, because history is used as a false god to create enemies amongst people who should be friends. Um, but anyways, okay. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Like if you go to the Torah would say that it is better to have a small, virtuous family than a large, evil, obnoxious family. Right? And that's like when I heard that, I was just like, OMG! Like I love history, and that's like the reality of it all. Like what good is it in conquering the world and losing your soul? Seriously. But that's the reality of some people in the world that like they don't have morality. They're just all about themselves, and they pretend that it's about the greater good. They pretend that but it's not about the greater good, it's all about them fucking selves. Bitch ass motherfuckers. But they pretend it's about the greater good. But it's not. And so so again, it's like again like if we're gonna create a video game, we have to go beyond the rhetoric that a tribe has of itself. And I think that's the great sin of history. The great sin of history is the rhetoric that a tribe has of themselves as opposed to its reality. Right? And how do you distinguish the true? How do you distinguish the true? That's the big question. Now for me, I distinguish the true between law. Like you truly know a tribe by its laws, not the rhetoric of itself. I repeat, and then I think this is very important. I think this is extremely important in my own opinion. You truly know a tribe by its laws than its rhetoric of its own self. Now, what do I mean by this? Like, let's look at the evil, 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 evil Athenians. The Athenians had great rhetoric of themselves. The Athenians had great rhetoric of themselves. Oh my, they had the most grandest, epic, amazing rhetoric of themselves, the Athenians. But what do you see in reality? You see betrayal. You see slavery, which is the reality of their laws, rather than the rhetoric of themselves. The rhetoric, the reality of their laws betrayed the Athenians as a bunch of genocidal tyrants, genocidal against their own people. And the Athenians are the foundations of the Western society, obviously, because the Athenians were genocidal against themselves. Because when you look at Athenian law, it was all about slavery. That's the reality of Athenian law. That is the fucking reality of Athenian law. Right? And again, law is a big part of this video game that I'm talking about that I don't know how to do. How do you put law into these video games? But law is the reality of a tribe. But damn, I am 7 generations above you guys, and you guys are on the first generation of a fucking body armor. You guys are on the first generation of body armor, and I'm on the fucking 7th generation of body armor. Fucking A, how do we fucking talk to each other? I'm so fucking lonely as fuck. Oh my god. Because I see fucking reality, and you guys are fooled by Athenian propaganda. Durr. Oh my god. Okay. Fuck the Athenians. Seriously. Let's go to Paul of Tarsus. I love Paul of Tarsus. And when you look at Paul of Tarsus and you look at his rhetoric, he is a very, Paul of Tarsus, when you look at his rhetoric, Paul of Tarsus is his rhetoric is just so dramatic and childlike and simplistic. So I believe that his rhetoric was not the real him. He was just playing to these stupid Greek peoples. I don't believe his rhetoric was him. He was playing them. But he was playing them for their own good, just like Moses was playing the Jews. Paul of Tarsus was totally not this man that he pretends to be in all his letters. That's not him. He's the man that's gonna fucking stone your ass if you're not pure. He's the man that's gonna stone your ass if you're not pure. But in this Greek world that he's trying to get into, he's this evangelical. But it's not that he's an evangelical, it's that the Greeks themselves are a bunch of emotional dumbasses. And he's playing to their emotional dumbass mentality. He's the wise shepherd who's playing to these dumb Greek emotional ways. Like, funny. So, there's so much funny things in history that so many people don't see. You know what? I don't even, like, I was talking about video games earlier, and I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I'm just drunk and blah, blah, blah. No, but man, it fucking irritates me, the propaganda of our fucking day. Like, let's get on, like, I want to get on to all you so-called native fucking Americans. I'm gonna ride your asses right now, you so-called fucking Native Americans. Okay? Because according to our current propaganda of our day, according to the current propaganda of our day, right, someone like Hernando Cortez is an evil imperialist, right? According to the evil propaganda of our day. But that's propaganda. That's not real history, peoples. Because who is Hernando Cortez other than the champion of Native American prosperity? Because that's who Hernando Cortez was in historical reality, unlike the propaganda you hear from history. Because Hernando Cortez came into the Mexican world, right? Because who were the Mexicans? The Mexicans were the rulers of Mexico City, today called the Aztecs, in order to hide the reality of Mexico, right? Because in the past, they were called the Mexicans. And the Mexicans of Mexico City were genociding the Native American peoples. It wasn't Hernando Cortez or the Spanish who were genociding the Native American peoples. No, in fact, they were disgusted. The Spanish came to this place and they were disgusted by the genocide of innocent Native American peoples, and they wanted to stop. They wanted to stop the genocide of Native American peoples. But that's not where you're going to hear from the propaganda of our day. Right? Because the propaganda of our day wants to divide and conquer. They totally want to fucking divide and conquer. Right? But Cortez didn't want these innocent Native American people to be genocided by the Mexicans. Right? This word Aztec is a modern word. And it is a word that was created by Western intellectuals to hide the name Mexican. Right? Because the genociders of the Native American peoples were originally called Mexicans. Right? And the genociders of the modern Mexican people are called Mexicans. Right? But we call them Aztecs. They were called Aztecs according to our modern intelligentsia. Right? They're called Aztecs, which is a modern word. Right? But Hernando Cortez fought the Mexicans. And who are the Mexicans? The Mexicans are a foreign linguistic peoples. This is a scientific reality. Like, where I'm talking science, bitches. The Mexicans were a foreign linguistic people, foreign to all of the so-called Native Americans. Like, damn. Like, history, like, as you think, is not the reality of what is. Because of propaganda. Because Hernando Cortez wanted to stop the genocide of innocent Native Americans. Okay? They wanted to stop the genocide of innocent. Now, I'm a story writer, and I believe in inspiration. And I had this inspiration for this one story one time, and I channeled and you guys, fuck, I don't give a fuck about any of you. Fuck you guys. I don't give a fuck about anything you think about me. But I channeled with the Native American priests. I channeled with them of Mexico before the Mexicans came into power. Right? Because the Mexicans are a foreign language in this central so-called Mexican peninsula. They're a foreign language. Like you guys are so historically stupid. They're a foreign fucking language within the Central America. Like, these so-called, these rulers, these Aztecs, as we call them nowadays, which were in reality called the Mexicans. That was their proper name. These Mexicans, these genocidal maniacs, did not have the same language as the other Native American language within so-called Central Mexico. They did not. They were a foreign peoples, and they introduced foreign customs of Phoenician genocide within the Central American realm. That's the reality of fucking history. And these Aztecs, as we call them nowadays, which were properly called by themselves Mexicans, these Mexicans genocided the Native Americans. They genocided them. Like, if you look at the history of the Mayans, like, the destruction of the Mayans was the Aztec peoples. Because the Mayans introduced genocide within the Mayan peoples. And that's just the reality of history. Like, I see it. Like, it's clear as day. Like, the destruction of the Mayans is the so-called Aztec peoples, which they themselves called themselves the Mexican peoples. Aztec is a word introduced by modern intellectual propagandists. But the fact of the matter is that the Native American peoples were on the Spanish people's side against the Aztecs, which were in that day called the Mexicans. And of course, nowadays you have the Mexicans reemerged. And what do you have? You have the genocide of all of the people of Mexico under the Mexican regime, who we nowadays in the United States would call the Aztecs. Like, if you're against genocide of innocent people, then you would see Hernando Cortez as a hero. But there's so much propaganda in our world. If you're against, are you against the genocide of the Native American peoples? I am. I don't want to see any Native American people genocided. And if you're against the Native American peoples being genocided, then you should be for Cortez, Hernando Cortez. But he's the great enemy of the intelligentsia of our world, is he not? He is the great enemy. Like, it's propaganda. That's what history is all about. Propaganda. One tribe versus the next tribe. No! It's all individuals. That's what justice is about. Justice is about individuals, not about groups. We all know this, don't we? We all know this. Every single one of you out there. Like, I'm speaking American right now. I'm talking about Mexico. But as I talk about Mexico, I speak in an American language. And as an American, as a fucking American, we all know. We all know. We all know the dream, don't we? We all know the dream, or do you know the dream? Seriously, do you know the dream as an American? Because like, seriously, do you know the dream? Like, seriously, fucking, do you know the dream? It's not about fucking your skin color, right? Like, do you know the like I heard the history of that speech one time. I did, and I totally believe it. I totally 100%, 110%, 2000%. I believe it. And the history of the speech is as follows, right? Like, that whole Million Man March was really about trying to divide and conquer the American people. It really was. Trying to divide blacks versus whites. That's what the elites had in mind. But But when he made his speech, he had written it out, and he like according to what I heard, he was he started talking. He started talking, and he was talking and talking, and he had heard all these other people talking, and he realized that the whole crowd was underwhelmed. And I've heard about like comedians who talk about like communication with the crowd and how amazing it is to communicate with the crowd. But like he was talking about like he had heard all these other speeches, and like the crowd was like underwhelmed. It was. And he had this speech which he had written out, and like what I heard was like he started speaking this speech, and he felt underwhelmed. Like he felt the crowd was underwhelmed by his own speech. So what did he do? He gave in to the Spirit. He dropped his speech. And he just started speaking from the heart. He started speaking from the fucking heart. And what did he say? He said, one day I have a dream. Speaking from the heart. He's going off script here. Like his handlers are not on board with his speech. His handlers are not on board with his speech. He's going from the heart. He's like, hey, I've got this prepared speech, but it's not working. And so he gives into it. He gives into it. And he's like, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day blacks and whites will be fucking united in the United States. And that's not what's happening nowadays. His dream is dead. Because there are so many blacks and whites who are hateful. Fuck you guys. Because it's all about fucking love. Fuck you guys. You are against the dream. The dream which was spontaneous at the moment. Which he felt it. And he felt that inspiration. He felt the inspiration of love. And he had a dream. That it's not about the skin color. Or the gender. Or the language. And that was the most epic part of this controlled dystopian craziness that we're in. Right? One of the most epic parts of our history was esoteric. It was. It was esoteric because it was off script. It was against the programming which was designed to divide and conquer all of you. Dumbasses. And he and the other side of the veil, the good side of the veil, was against the divide and conquering programming. Because at the end of the day, it's all about fucking love. It's all about exactly what he was talking about. It's about the fucking heart. That's what the Torah talks about. It's about the fucking heart. It's not about the skin color. We all know that. Martin Luther knew that. And he died for it. Once he went up against the Like he was all fine and good until he went up against the war profiteers.